And then I know relatively, I don't know if there was overlap, but I feel like relatively shortly around that time you started doing What Did We Miss with WWAY.
Right. They were both going on for there was about a year where they both existed. Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier you're not doing that anymore.
Right. I left the station October of 2021. So I'm about a year out of doing that. And that was a fun show to do, but it was another thing where it was me by myself. I would write a 3-minute monologue on wacky things that happened in the news and, shoot it in the studio, edit it, upload, like do the graphics myself. Like it was just a lot of things doing it by myself. And I loved that show. And I think I'll bring it back at some point. I'll bring it back, just not with the station. Because what happened was I was working at the station. I was the director of Good Morning Carolina for about 5 years. And that's about as long as I was doing What Did We Miss? I think it was about 4 or 5 years of doing that show. So it was just a thing where, like, when I left the station, when I stopped doing it, I didn't own the segment. They owned the segment.
Yeah.
And if they weren't having me on the staff to direct the morning show, they weren't really interested in keeping me around just to do the segment. Yeah. And I wasn't really interested in, each episode was like several hours of work. I wasn't really interested in continuing to do that to make a product that I don't own. Right. So it's going to come back at some point. It's going to come back and it'll be me doing it myself in my home, like just and it'll be
like a YouTube format.
Exactly. Yeah. So excuse me, sorry, something more
self. Shut it down.
I'm the first guest to burp on the mic, and I apologize to everyone at home.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It didn't really seem sincere apology, but
I will let me if you give me 5 minutes, I'll write a notes app and then screenshot it and share it on Instagram.
Yeah, please do. Okay. All right, I'll be sure to spread that.
I'll text that to you as soon as I leave here. Just, I understand some people heard me burp on the mic today, and that was unprofessional of me and not how my parents raised me.
It's all right. I think God forgives you, but I mean, I sure don't.
And you don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah. You don't owe me that. You don't owe me your forgiveness. Yeah. And that's just something for me to live with.
Fair enough. So you're not, that used to be your job, like directing that show. Right. And then you kind of just got to do that What Did We Miss segment as like kind of just an agreement with the station that was kind of like, yeah, sure, if you want to do that in tandem with this, but
yeah, the news director like knew I did stand up, and he was like, WWAY, the second best station in Wilmington. There are 2 stations in Wilmington.
So the worst station.
So like if there's only 2 and like I'm not talking quality, I'm talking ratings wise. Yeah. Where they were second best. So he called me into the office one day and he was like, how do we, morning shows are supposed to be fun. How do we make the morning show funny? Do you have ideas? And at this point I wasn't directing, I was a PA. I was like, do you have ideas on how to make the show funny? And I was like, put me on it. And he was like, okay. So like I pitched him, we shot like test pilot episode of it, and they were enthusiastic, and I really thought I was going to do this for like 3 months. People would realize this is not a good fit for the show. This isn't. The second episode it aired, a woman emailed the station, please take this fellow off the morning news. He is neither amusing or informative, and the lack of preciousness he finds in himself is quite grating. Wow. She sent that at 6:47, which was like the minute the show came on. Like it was like the second time ever the show was on. All I said was, how goes it? I'm Will Maxwell. Yeah. And she was like,
She basically saw the first one and she goes, all right, well, I'll accept this, but if it comes on again, she already wrote the draft. She was like, I'm going to make this real easy. As soon as I see his face, this email's going out.
It was like, how did she send this? It's like, I remember the timestamp. It was like, I had just gotten on.
It would be funny if it was like 3 minutes before it started.
It's like, if you were thinking of putting this fellow on the morning news, don't.
Right. You made such an impression on me the one time that it's already aired.